Hey everybody, welcome to this special Ministry Misfits takeover, I guess, of the Martin Center. Would that be it?
Yeah, that's right. We're taking over the Martin Center live in downtown Canton here.
Yeah, so we are at More Than a Game, which is it's a health thing, it's a basketball thing, it's a tournament, there's a cash prize, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and so we're going to be here throughout the day. Those of you that are in the Canton area, come on down to the Martin Center. You guys can watch some basketball, you guys can check out some of the local vendors, do some health-related activity. Check us out, we've got some stickers here if you want them. We're going to be here pretty much all day, I think, right?
That's right, yeah. So this basketball tournament just started a little bit ago at 10 a.m. and it's going to roughly run till about 2 p.m. this afternoon. So as Andrew said, come stop on down here. We're at 3rd Street at the Martin Center at the More Than a Game basketball tournament. So as Andrew was mentioning, it's more than just a basketball game. Really, we're gathering the community here and bringing local athletes together to bring education and awareness to some of the disparities that we're facing, and they actually get access to some of the resources that are needed for life outside of just the game of basketball.
Right, and so in addition to all of this, throughout the day we're going to be jumping on live. We're hoping to get a few guests, some staff members, some volunteers, maybe even some player interviews. And then in addition to that, we're hoping that once we get the camera situation figured out, that we'll even be able to broadcast some of the games here for those of you that can't make it. So
that's right. So again, we're at the Martin Center downtown at More Than a Game. Really one of the cool things too is when a lot of the athletes and teams come in here to check in, there's some more educational pieces, and they meet with some of the local vendors and also go through some of the medical staff too. So by signing up for this event, some of the players even agree to get their blood pressure tested, to learn more again about some of the effects again of like diabetes. So there's some forms of different things, and so just bringing more of awareness to our community versus just life outside of basketball.
Right, so hopefully you all will stick around, keep checking Facebook. We may even try to jump over to Instagram every once in a while just to switch things up. But we're going to be here throughout the day. Come visit if you guys are in the area. And we will see the rest of you when we go back live here probably in, 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, a little bit. With Deshaun.
This episode of the Ministry Misfits podcast and this awesome shirt are brought to you by Courageous Clothing Company. Courageous Clothing Company is a Christian family-owned business that specializes in custom designs that they create, as well as bulk screen printing of your custom designs as well. When you buy from Courageous Clothing Company, you're not just buying an awesome shirt, you also are helping spread the gospel across the world through the missions that they support, such as this here with Ministry Misfits, as well as with their own designs that have Christian-themed messages, sharing the gospel in an awesome and relevant way, or as we say within CSRM and Ministry Misfits, strategically relevant evangelism. Check out their entire line at courageousclothingcompany.com. Hey everybody, we are back live both on the Martin Center page and the Ministry Misfit page, and we are still at More Than a Game, and today we finally are getting to sit down with the legend, Deshaun Kamwisa.
That's right. Welcome, Deshaun. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I don't know about a legend, but
well, speaking of legends, Brandon wants to get the annoying question out of the way right away.
Oh no, that's the last question.
Oh, the last question. All right. So Deshaun is the associate, right?
Yeah.
The associate pastor here at 3rd Street. He's one of the founding pastors of 3rd Street. Deshaun, how did you actually get involved with all of this?
Man, so I don't know about founding. I was here when it happened. As part of the prayer team, I guess. But we were connected with Corey and Rachel, Pastor was here for a while before we were doing a youth ministry in the Southeast for a few years. Actually, about 7 years before 3rd Street got started, we were involved in just like pastoring these middle school girls. That's how it started.
That's great.
And God just used that in a huge way. Over time, it became this thing where we had basketball nights. Guys got involved. It came from that into, hey, let's do something a little more than just coming out and playing basketball. Let's talk to them about Jesus. Let's see if we can go beyond it. Eventually, God put it on Corey's heart, put it on our hearts as the launch team. Like, hey, you should start a church because you know what, this is something that God has given us. These people that are coming that are here that we can minister to. So Corey and Rachel and Jordan and myself, my wife Jordan, we've been in this thing for a while together. So it's been pretty fun to see how God's kind of worked it out and how it's changed and morphed over the years and became what it is.
So we know basketball has been a big part of 3rd Street as a whole. What is it about what we're doing today that what is it that why are you here?
That's a great so basketball has been from the beginning before after middle school girls because they had no interest in basketball except for the boys that were coming. After that, it became this thing that it just drew the community, it drew the guys that we were connected with. And that's been kind of central to what we've done here at 3rd Street. But over time, God has morphed that, and we've kind of been able to step into different iterations of that. So KT, the youth pastor here, came from a different church in the area. He did some basketball leagues, and he's got a vision, and it's really cool. He's got a vision for really using the game of basketball, using a community setting like this to minister and reach into young people's lives, young men and women's lives. And so today, this More Than Basketball event came out of an event that he had seen in Akron that he saw and he wanted to replicate and saw that, you know what, young black men do not get health care. They just don't. They don't seek out health care. There's a certain
stigma,
with going to the doctor and getting health care. And so we saw and say, you know what, all these young guys that have families, have kids, they have people that love them. And we want to make sure that they're healthy, know about health, and be educated. And so his vision was, let's put together an event where they can play basketball, they can bring their families, they can bring friends, but they can also get some education about health and what they should be watching for, blood pressure, diabetes, things that might trip you up in your health, and then get established with a primary care provider. And so that's what I'm doing here. He brought it up, and I was like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a direct need that we can help meet very easily, and it's a fun thing.
Yep. And why is the medical industry so important to you?
So I work as a nurse practitioner just up the street, a couple blocks away at St. Paul Square, and so I said 3rd Street. That's my other job.
We're not a hospital.
Right? So at St. Paul Square with Mercy, and so I get to some of the people actually come to church. I get to see the community there and get to listen to in a different way, healthcare. So that's my livelihood. That's my passion.
That's great. So you got to talk to some of the athletes, right, when they were coming in before they were playing their games?
Yep. It was cool because a couple of them had not had their blood pressure checked before, so they had no idea. Some of them said, "Oh yeah, I have some family health issues that I didn't know about, but I'd like to get checked out." So it's good to have those conversations and break some of that stigma.
Yeah. I think even as a male stereotype, we don't like to break down that wall of we might have a problem or go see the doctor. So it's really great that a lot of the guys playing in this basketball league are acknowledging that and taking that part to be involved in their community and, like we said, be bigger than the game of basketball. All right, Deshaun, now for my very important question I'm going to ask everybody. Who's the greatest basketball player of all time?
Man. Oh. Me.
Oh, you? Yes. Even though he's not out here playing.
I mean,
he's the legend. He is the legend.
If I don't believe it in here, then no. So of all time, I've got to say Michael Jordan. It is. I love LeBron, and I think he's done more. Again, if we're talking about more than basketball, the greatest basketball player of all time to do more than basketball, LeBron James.
Yeah.
Because he has done more for his community, more for the people that he loves, and more for people that are coming up the next generation than Michael Jordan ever did. Michael Jordan on the court, absolute animal. You can't hold him.
Valid answer. We'll take it. Definitely a valid answer. So this has been a little short segment with Deshaun. Assuming that the audio worked with the recording, we'll probably release this as a mini-sode here in the next couple days on the podcast as well. But we are going to take a break here. They're starting game 3.
Yep, game 3.
Yeah,
yep.
game 3. And we're hopefully going to be getting the camera situation figured out so you guys can actually watch some of these games here in the next couple rounds. So stay with us. We will be back in a while. Hey everyone, this is Andrew Fouts. I'm the Director of Digital Resources for CSRM and the host of Ministry Misfits. And today we want to invite you to join us at Reach Gathering 2021 in Ridgecrest, North Carolina, September 14th through the 16th. The reason we love to go to Reach Gathering, the reason we partner with the Reach Gathering, is because we are all about resources and relationships, and especially these relationships with like-minded ministers that are able to come together and think about why we love sports rec and fitness ministry, how we want to see our communities reached with the gospel through these methods, and to talk about how to do these things from a theological and a biblical perspective. So we hope to see you all there. There's still time for you to register at reachgathering.org/register. And we would love for you to meet you all there at the CSRM booth, as well as all the other partner booths that will be there as well. Back, we are live again, for some reason extremely zoomed in, but we are live again at the More Than a Game tournament here at the Martin Center in Canton. We are joined now by Serena Hendershot. She is here on staff at the Martin Center. She's on staff at 3rd Street. She's very, 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 very active within the Stark County community. And so she's just up here to join us for a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about the work she does, about how she came to 3rd Street, how she came to the Martin Center, about what's going on a little bit today, as well as some stuff that's going on that people can get involved with, whether that's Martin Center, whether that's 3rd Street, to help the Stark County community out. So, Serena, welcome to Ministry Misfits, and also welcome back to the Martin Center page, since we kind of stole it for the day.
There we go.
Thank you, guys. I'm glad to have you guys here.
Yeah, so to start off, why don't you share a little bit about what you do here at 3rd Street, what you do at the Martin Center?
Yes, so I am our community development director, and so I've been here since January of 2020. My role basically includes being an advocate and working with community partners. So a lot of what I do is working with education, health, and housing, and so bringing equitable resources to the southeast side of Canton.
So you had an interesting introduction to 3rd Street, because you come on to be the community advocate, outreach person. You start in January 2020, and then 2 months later, the community gets shut down. So how did you navigate this whole idea of becoming the community outreach person when there's no community outreach availability anymore?
Right. So a lot of that took just brainstorming with our team to really look at what are those avenues that are really going to connect to the community. And so, like everyone else, we did a lot of things virtual, but then we also started to look at what is happening in the pandemic that people are beginning to need. And so we ended up hosting 2 community cookouts where we were able to provide household items to some of the community members that were there. We also ended up having just some of those partnerships came out of just having talks with our young people who come through our programming. So whether that's our athletics specifically, we were having Zoom calls and just talking about some of the things that they're kind of dealing with on a daily basis and what was coming out of that as well.
Awesome. So you are what all the community partners are we connected with here? Because we're kind of unofficially connected with everybody. Both from just being a part of 3rd Street, the community within the congregation, but also some of the stuff that Ministry Misfits is involved in through the Tribe Collective, through Absurd, through the So give us, what are some of these other community organizations that 3rd Street and Martin Center are connected with?
Yeah, so our biggest partners right now is Habitat for Humanity, and so we usually have a lot of our people in the congregation volunteer for any builds that need to happen within the southeast side, specifically right now. Another partner is Rahab, and so Rahab Ministries, we work with them, so whether that's having more volunteers to do some things, whether that's funding some of their initiatives, we work with them. Another one is Tikva Hands of Hope, the after school program with Canton City Schools. We work with them, our staff partner with them. And then a few others, Pathway Caring for Children, Crossover Academy, DeHoff Library over by Hartford Middle School, Patrick Elementary now. Yeah, so there's just a bunch of trickling things, and like I said, most of those community partners are either on the basis of education, health, or housing. And then this year, because of what you said, just trying to figure out how to actually reach the community, this year is really me trying to figure out what are the best partners to have. And so this event specifically, more than a game, we brought on the Stark County Black Nurses Association, the American Heart Association donated their blood pressure cups for us to use, and then we also had Beacon Pharmacy, who were here doing vaccines for our players as well.
Awesome.
So, Serena, what's one way if somebody at home wants to be more connected to either one of those groups or wants to volunteer, whether they go to 3rd Street or even just involved in the Stark County community, what's the best way to get connected further?
Yes, so as long as you guys know the 3rdstreetchurch.com website, usually it's just one little tab that says either volunteer or join a team, and we can get you connected. You can also just reach out to me specifically, because I'm the one that is connected to all of our partners, and I'm the one that knows what's out there. And so my email is serena@thirdstreetchurch.com, so that is one of the biggest ways too.
Awesome.
Perfect.
And now, Serena, give us a little bit of background for you as well, because you are not just, just somebody that's come alongside to join the community. You have a long history of being involved in service and everything else. So give us a little bit of background into you.
Yeah. So, I'm actually from the Alliance area. I was born in Canton, but I'm from the Alliance area. Ended up going to school at Walsh University. And
we won't hold that against you.
Yeah.
And crazy enough, I originally thought I was going to go and work for the government. My degree is in political science and history. I wanted to do that. In 2017, my life did a 180 flip. I lost a really good friend to gun violence, and he was someone who was actually involved in the Martin Center specifically, and that just did a 180. A lot of people in my life were saying, hey, I want to leave Canton, I don't want nothing to do with Stark County, but God specifically was telling me no, you're not supposed to leave, you're actually supposed to change it. And so fast forward to 2019, the end of 2019, Pastor Corey Hunka had reached out to me and said, would you be willing to be my community outreach director? And so I wasn't willing, and I didn't want to do it, but I also felt God's call for me to do it. And so out of that, I was already really involved. So I used to work for United Way of Stark County, and so they had a Get Connected program working with youth and working with workforce development initiatives. And then I also had some play into Why Stark. I did their Spotlight program last year. And then also just my involvement with Walsh University gave me a lot of different leeway. So I was an intern for the Stark County Teen Court program and their Family Court program with their juvenile probation kids. So that's kind of a different array of where I've been in different sectors. Also, I had some work with the University of Akron, which also brought me back to Stark County and helping more young people in this specific area as well.
Yeah, you definitely fit the Ministry Misfit mold, and a lot of us are going through different things, including my story that you might have heard a couple weeks ago, but just how we have our own journey or ways that we think it's going to work out, and then God says, no, I want to use you for bigger things, and sometimes it's just us being willing
half-court shot.
Us just being willing to do that calling, so that's great.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, we are still live at the event, and we just had a buzzer beater from half court. It didn't really matter because they still lost, but it was a nice shot out overall.
All right,
So,
Serena,
yeah.
I got one last question
Oh,
for
my.
you here. Who is the greatest basketball player of all time?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. All right, that's two
We
for
need
two
to.
so
We're
far.
gonna have to do a poll once we're done with all this to see if our listeners agree. So far, you and Deshaun are on the same
Both
page.
Jordan lovers. All right, I'm not wrong with that. So.
Yeah. So this has been Serena Hendershot. Check out all the stuff that 3rd Street's doing. You can get a hold of her off of their website. We'll also link her in on our website as well. If you guys want to get involved with anything 3rd Street's doing, with anything that the Martin Center's doing, or just around Stark County, Ohio in general, If you've got any questions, even for Serena, as far as how to even do this stuff in your own communities, I'm sure she'd be willing to answer that as well. We are going to take a break here. We're hopefully going to be able to go live for the next game, and hopefully not break the computer while we try to maneuver it around. So stay with us. Serena, thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And if you can find Hunk, send him over here, because he seems to be hiding from us. So.
Oh, he ended up leaving.
Of course he did. All right, we will be back after a while when the next game starts. Hey everybody, welcome back. That game is over. They're getting ready to start the next game, which I believe this will decide who's going to the championship round. But we are going to, instead of watching that, we are going to take some time out and interview Daryl Owens. Daryl is, you were the original children's pastor here, correct?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, original children's pastor. He is very involved within the education field, a great educator. He's well respected, well known here within the county and especially within the Canton community at large. So, Daryl, welcome to Ministry Misfits, as well as.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, this is also on the Martin Center today. We kind of took over the Martin Center.
Taking over.
That's right.
Shutting it down.
That's right. Yeah, they we asked them for permission to use the page, and they gave me admin permission. So who knows what's going on there now?
Taking a run with it.
That's right. So, give us a little bit of insight into who you are, how you got involved here within the Martin Center in 3rd Street.
Yeah, Daryl Owens is my name. I ended up, after high school, I went to Bowling Green State University. Ended up transferring after 3 years to Walsh. And I graduated from Walsh, and then from there, I've been here shaking your head. Said,
yeah, we pray for you guys.
You and Serena. Hey, we need it, man. We need it. We need it. But after I graduated from Walsh, I just stayed here. So got married, had kids, and I've been here ever since, working in the church, working in the education system, and just trying to really just be a community advocate. So.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things I saw was that last year you were recognized for 40 under 40.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was cool. So I guess they look for people under 40 for the being acknowledged for 40 under 40. So yeah, so I was one of, I think it was around 10 or 12 people, if I remember right. Yeah.
So being an athlete here, you actually just finished up your game, unfortunately. Knocked out of the tournament here for more than a game. But what does this whole tournament mean to you of going beyond basketball, especially in your community?
I love it, man. I love athletics. I'll start by saying that. I love pushing myself physically, just seeing how much you can get out of yourself physically. But at the same time, I believe that we get so caught up in that we forget about the mental health, the spiritual health, and all of these other things. So I love that we're playing basketball today, but I love that they also have some other things going on.
Yep. Yeah, so what's one of the biggest benefits you've been able to take out of the tournament here from taking it away? Of either the clinic that they had set up at the beginning, what's something you've taken away so far?
Something small as blood pressure. So that's a big deal, and I know a lot of people don't really pay attention to it. Those that are 40 and under. So to come in today, get your blood pressure checked, because it brings awareness, and then from there, now you got these options and these things that you can do to better.
Some of these guys, for the first time ever, are able to actually see where they're at physically. Especially that blood pressure is a key factor into actually seeing where you're at. And all that. So
it's been very good to be able to see the community not just coming in to do basketball, but respond with actually being willing to come in and do this stuff. So, give us a little bit of insight. You are no longer the children's pastor here, but you are still very involved within Martin Center and Third Street, and specifically within the education field. So give everybody a little bit of insight into what it is that you've been doing here, whether it's just in the building or in the Martin Center as a whole.
Yeah, so in 2016, I resigned from a school I was working at with the intention of starting school. So our first year, I believe, was 2017, fall of 2017, and the Martin Center blessed us and allowed for us to have school here. So for the first 3 years of school, we were having school at the Martin Center, and then after that, we got our own building, so we've been doing it there. But they've still allowed for me to do different events here, to where I'm bringing in kids. Again, we're using sports, but we're leveraging that to get across some other messages.
See, sports ministry, I'm telling you.
That's right. And what's the specific age that you're typically working with?
Normally, I work with 8 to 17, 8 to 18 normally. But I do have other things that I try to do for those that are 18 and older.
Now, one thing we like to ask all of our guests is kind of how you got into the spot. So was education kind of always the direction you were wanting to go in?
No, not at all. Since I was, I don't even know the year, but since I was young, I just wanted to play football. That was the only goal, was to play football. So when I went to Bowling Green, I went to Bowling Green to play football. When I transferred to Walsh, I went to Walsh to play football. No intentions of really getting a degree. I just wanted to get to the NFL. So when that fell through, I needed one more class to graduate. So I said, this one class, I've been here for this many years, I might as well graduate. So I graduated. The easiest degree I could get at that time, and at the quickest, was a communications degree. So at that time, I had no idea what that meant, but
Just trying to get out of there.
I get the class, let me get that degree. So I get my degree in communications, again, not knowing what that meant, but prior to graduating, my running back, Antoine Renee, ended up discipling me, and he invited me to church deliverance. And Sarge, he invited me out to Hartford. So I would just volunteer in there throughout the school day, after school program, and that was really my introduction to education. And then from there, I really just started to, I guess you could say, climb the ranks. So I was an after school coordinator. I got a job at Confirmation as a program and education director. That got me into the school system a little bit more. So from there, it just kind of started to climb. But growing up, education just wasn't important to me, sadly,
Yeah, and that kind of is part of what we like to talk about on here, is the fact that it's always that one thing when all of a sudden you realize you don't know what to do.
Right.
Where God suddenly shoves it in your face saying, I've been telling you this all along, you just haven't paid attention.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
One of the things I always appreciate from you is it's not just alcohol, but you actually get your hands dirty and you do the work of actually working with kids here, like you talked about. Specifically on your Facebook page, I know you've been sharing some more motivational things and really giving some tips and tools. Talk about that a little bit further.
Yeah, so with Crossover Academy, the school, I have, this year I'm taking a year off. I feel like God is transitioning and some things, so I'm really just trying to figure it out and see where He's leading me. But in the meantime, I'm working as a mentor specialist in a few districts right now. So what you've been seeing on Facebook is my Instagram page, Inner City Intellectual. And similar to what we talked about earlier, the focus is, rather than promoting sports like we normally do in the inner city, I want to promote intellectual health. So really, it's specifically pertaining to education. So just things that as I read and as I study that I found interesting and I feel is beneficial to people, those are kind of the things that I'm pushing on that Instagram and Facebook.
So how can people check that out and follow more?
Yeah, well, my Facebook is just simply my name, Daryl Owens, and you'll see my kids as my profile picture. But on Instagram,
you have quite a few as well.
I have 6 now.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
I do. Be fruitful. Be fruitful.
Yes.
But my Instagram page is called inner_city_intellectual. Inner City Intellectual.
We'll have to get that and put it.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we'll be putting that up on our website. That way people can connect. We'll also put in the academy as well. That way people can connect, see what's going on there. And we're hoping to be able to get you back on in studio where it's a little bit quieter, a little bit easier.
I'm looking forward to it.
A little bit easier to hear once we get that going. But all right, Brandon.
All right, yeah, this is my question. I'm asking everyone the tough question here. Who's the greatest basketball player of all time?
You know that's easy, man. I don't even know why people talk. It's Jordan. It's easy.
That's 3 for 3. I didn't even stop asking this question.
It's not even a discussion. It's not even a discussion. Jordan.
Yeah, no deal will always come with the receipt. That's what debate him. You better have ammunition.
That is very true.
Yeah, definitely so.
And I just want to point out also that when we were doing the game a minute ago, Brandon was talking about how much taller everybody out there was than us. So we are like perfectly aligned right here. You're not that far. You're not that far back.
Have the seat sitting further back.
He's not that far back from us.
If we stand up, we'll see the true identity.
I'm just saying. Dio, thanks for coming on. That's it. Yeah, we'll definitely get you back on once we're set up in the studio again. If you guys want to check out the stuff he's doing, you guys can check the website later on this week. We're gonna have all the resources that we've mentioned today from the event up there, the stuff that Sean was talking about, from the stuff Serena was talking about, as well as everything that Dio is doing right now. So we're gonna take a quick break. This game has about 4 minutes left, and then we're going to be. Oh, that was interesting. Oh, okay. They called it double dribble. We just had a charge. Well, I thought we had a charge call when a player ran into his own player, but it was a double dribble. So that was not a charge. We're all right. But yeah, we will be back here.
The Ministry Misfits podcast is a production of Overwhelming Victory Flicks, Overwhelming Victory Radio, and Ministry Misfits Media. Dr. Greg Linville and Andrew Fouts are our executive producers, and Brandon Simmons is associate producer. Our music is provided by Morning Light Music and is titled Rain. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can email us at ministrymisfitmedia@gmail.com or by following @ministrymisfit on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can support Ministry Misfits at anchor.fm/Ministry Misfits or for FO1c3 credit by going to csrm.org/donate and selecting Andrew Fouts in the campaign menu. To learn more about Overwhelming Victory or to listen to our sister podcast, visit overwhelmingvictory.org.